Good morning, YouTube. Today I'm going to show you why there is a $50,000+ difference between these three Ferrari F430 Spiders.
So are you recording all of the nefarious activities?
If you're new to the channel, my name is Dan and this is The Stub. This is our dealership, NG Supercars, and these cars are in our dealership and they were for sale. Well, actually, that one just sold. We know the value of that car because it just sold literally just, today. But these two are still for sale, and so why is there a $50,000 gap between the value of these cars? Actually, it's more than $50,000. So let's talk about that. I want to show you the difference because a lot of people see all these different cars listed for sale and there's a huge variance in the pricing. Why is that? Well, not as simple as just mileage. There's actually a lot of nuance into it, especially in the Ferrari marketplace. But before we do, real quick, like, share, and subscribe, hit the notification bell, but better yet, go check out NG Supercars, our dealership website, and you can buy parts and services through normalguysupercar.com. We do appreciate your guys' support. That keeps us going. All right, let's start off with the cheapest car and work our way up to the most expensive car. Okay, the tale of three F430s. Well, here is the cheapest of the three, and we'll go into all of the reasons why and point them all out. So first of all, it's really obvious this car has aftermarket wheels. So in the Ferrari marketplace, aftermarket wheels are pretty much always going to devalue the car. Now that sucks because these wheels are probably, I'm gonna guess, $10,000. They're pretty nice wheels. They're very large, and it even has reasonable tires. It's got Toyos on it. They didn't, skimp out and buy like the I don't know, the Lexani Pros like are on that thing, or the whatever Chinese crap. So real tires are always a big important factor. Now the other big obvious thing on this particular car is the color. Unfortunately, gray does not sell as easy, and so the prices are always lower for gray cars. Pretty much red is the default color for a Ferrari, as you would imagine. Blue over there, well, we'll talk about that in a minute, but the gray, this is Grigio Silverstone. It's a great color. A lot of people like it, but it does not sell as well, so it does not hold as much a value. Now, the other thing is the Rosso interior, although it's kind of exciting and giving this car some flair, well, it's not everyone's cup of tea, so again, that probably hurts the value of this car a little bit. Now, from the exterior, as long as we're walking around, this car is actually in really good cosmetic condition as far as the paint goes. Now, the paint itself has very few paint chips, so that did not really hurt the value much. It even has a PPF, although the PPF is we'll just say, not good job. The glass is in good conditions. That helps, keeps the value up. We've got PPF on the mirrors. Again, good thing. This mirror, little bit of wobble, so might hurt the condition a little bit. All the taillights, well, we've taken care of it, but this one does have a crack. You can see right there. This one we did also has a crack. Well, I think it's actually just a scratch. That might be able to be buffed out. This one we had to fix, so it's so bad. And then you can see there's some discoloration on this light as well. 430 taillights being loose, super common. Underside of the car, the diffuser has some pretty substantial scrapes in it. You can't really see it from here, but they are, well, you can see some over here. But up in the front of it, it's definitely been scraped a little bit. Probably no paint work on this car. It doesn't look like it's been repainted at all, so this is probably the original paint, which is great. That is a major plus. And well, let's take a look at the engine bay. All right, so we've got the stock exhaust, we got the stock airbox covers, but we do have aftermarket headers. Now, the aftermarket headers will potentially hurt the value only because it eliminates the ability for us to sell this car in California as easily. It's hard to say on that because, again, 430s, the factory headers crack so easily and pretty much they're guaranteed to crack. So having aftermarket headers, if you don't live in an emissions controlled area, is actually a huge plus in my opinion. It doesn't really change the sound much at all because it still has the factory catalytic converters. And interesting enough, it still has where it is not throwing a check engine light, so I don't know if this car got tuned or if it has something to make it so it's defeating the O2 sensor error from the aftermarket headers, but anyway, it is what it is. You can see we got some paint bubbling here. This happens on the Spiders. It does not happen on the Coupes. Now this is because this is metal, and so the paint just kind of flakes off over time right where the screw holes are. Again, only a problem on the Spider. Engine's in great shape. We just took care of the valve cover gaskets, so that actually helped the value. Now going over to the interior, you can see we've got the standard kick plates. There is basically no carbon fiber on the exterior of this car. We've got the Daytona seats, but they're just Daytona seats, nothing special there. We do have the upgraded sound system. You can see the typical scratching on the back of the Spider. Now this is because on the Spiders the seat sits so close, especially for tall people, that it rubs against it and causes that paint to wear out. Interior's in okay shape. You can see we've got some carbon fiber bits, got the carbon fiber console. Now the seats themselves, here's the thing, they have a decent amount of cracking and wear in them, so I don't think it's been like well maintained as far as putting leather conditioner and stuff like that in it regularly. So at some point, like, unfortunately, it's badly cracked enough that at some point you'll probably have to reupholster the seats. Now the actual foam in it and everything seems to be in good shape, and you can see how much better shape the passenger seat is than the driver's side seat. Now also notice that there's a bit of a shine to it versus a little bit less shiny over there, and almost no shine right here. It's, I should say, gloss. And that's what you want the color to look like. You want to be a kind of dull color. When it's shiny, it means that it's not been well taken care of and it needs to be cleaned and then reconditioned and all that stuff. Door panels, great shape. Pretty much no sticky buttons, so that's also a good thing. Now, here's where we start to get into some issues. Is you can see the vents on the dashboard are popping up. That is, again, super common. So obviously the leather is starting to stretch. You can see some cracking right here, and you can see that this airbag cover has definitely been replaced because it's shrunken down right here and it's fitting pretty good. So right here the leather is starting to bubble up. That needs to be tacked back down. So basically, like, on a cosmetic score, this thing's not going to be super great. You know, out of a 10, it's probably like a, I'm gonna say like a 7, maybe even a 6.5. It's not terrible. Who's gonna notice the flaws? All of us car guys, right? You know, like, normal people aren't gonna notice those things. The last component of this is the mileage. So this car has almost 35,000 miles on it. Now, that's not terrible in my opinion. In the Ferrari world, it's a lot. The clutch in this car is about 50% worn. So if we had a brand new clutch in it, that would probably be a little bit more enticing to sell. And then the last thing that probably hurts the value, believe it or not, or at least doesn't help it a lot, is that it's a Spider. So older Spiders, people aren't wanting them as much anymore. So the 430 Spider prices are kind of coming down. People are wanting the Coupes more and more. Now, if we had a manual in this, obviously it'd be worth a lot more. It's a reasonably well-maintained car. It's not a perfectly maintained car. It's not what I would call an open checkbook car. It's just a solid, good driver's quality car with a decent number of miles. Got the shop dog, Mo. Mo's helping out today. Good job, Mo. Before we wrap it up on this car we listed for $109,500. So again, it just sold. So there's kind of our starting price on this car. And we believe that that was a way below wholesale market value. So we could have easily sold that to another dealership at that price. We think it was a very, very fair price. Okay, moving on to the next kind of priced car. Now this is where it gets a little bit interesting because this car actually has more miles than that car. So we've got 40,000 miles on this car, but we've priced it at $120,000. So why would this car be more? Well, it's because this car is definitely better maintained. Also, it's red and tan. Now, it's hard to go wrong with the red tan combination on a Ferrari. It's so classic, everyone wants it. And to make it better, it's got the Daytona seats. The only thing that maybe would make this interior pop just a little bit more is if we had like black or red striping, or maybe different colored stitching, something like that would actually help this car just a little bit more. But before we get to interior, let's take a look at the exterior. Again, it's got a PPF on the front clip, so that's great. This right here, this stripe, we are probably going to remove. So this actually probably deters some buyers, believe it or not. So it's cool. A lot of people like it, but again, anytime you limit the number of buyers, you are potentially reducing the value of the car. It's got a cool little carbon fiber thing right here. Got a couple of paint chips that have been taken care of. They're under the PPF at this point. You know, the front looks really good. It's got darked out turn signals. I don't know. I'm not in love with that, but some people like it, some people don't. Factory wheels, also big feature. Carbon ceramic brakes. That is a major important thing. Steel brakes on that one. I forgot to mention that. So steel brakes, carbon ceramic brakes, massive upgrade, easily adds at least $5,000 to the value of this car. So that alone is a big deal. You can see very little wobble in the mirror, good shape on that. The paint is in really good shape. Just, you can tell that the person that owned this car prior to us had it paint corrected and ceramic coated. Tires are Yokohamas. I'm not a big fan of those. They're okay. You know, they're good enough. I mean, if I bought this car, I'd drive them and destroy them and then get rid of them and put in some Michelins. We have a carbon fiber diffuser, and we have the very desirable carbon fiber rear grille. That right there is a huge thing. People with F430s love it. So you can see carbon fiber grille, no carbon fiber grille. Also of note, that is a 2007. This is a 2006. So the 07 is a little bit more desirable, generally speaking, because it's a little bit newer. Let's take a look at the engine bay. Now this car, the clutch was just replaced. It's got a brand new clutch. So that right there, massive plus on this thing. Carbon fiber air intake boxes. The rest of it is still stock. And, well, I should say, except for the exhaust. So aftermarket exhaust, we've got factory cats, but we do have headers. So we've got headers and an aftermarket exhaust. I'm not sure exactly what exhaust that is. It looks like it's kind of like the sport exhaust, but that looks really small. So I'm not sure. No labeling on it. So, but it sounds good. So that's, I guess, the more important part. Lots of carbon fiber everywhere. We got the carbon fiber kick plates. We've got like a carbon fiber overlay on the door handles. Now this is obviously just like a sticker, but that's one way to take care of sticky buttons in a cool way that actually looks good. We've got the full carbon fiber console. Again, I told you, scratch marks from sitting the seats too far back. We got carbon fiber surrounds on the speakers. That's actually pretty cool. We've got the Daytona stripes on the rear bench. Again, Daytona seats. We have an aftermarket carbon fiber drink holder instead of the stupid ashtray. That is actually a really cool thing. I'm a fan of that. I would say that's a great upgrade. No one's gonna complain. Carbon fiber doesn't quite match. You know, it's definitely a different style of weave, but it looks okay. Sticky buttons have generally been taken care of. This one's still got a tiny bit of it, like these ones do. But for the most part, no sticky buttons. Aftermarket stereo. Oh yeah, we had an aftermarket stereo in that car as well. Well, you can see the dash is in really good shape. The vents are basically in place, not quite all the way in place, and there's a tiny bit of like bubbling going on right here. You can see just a little bit. So dash is in, I would say, like probably an 8 out of 10 shape for these cars. It needs a little bit of love, but nothing that you have to do immediately. So I would just keep driving it for a while. Carbon fiber steering wheel. This is a massive option. This is not super common on the 430. Really welcomed. Also, the carbon fiber dashboard. Very, very cool. Not common at all. Again, all of these things kind of add up and make this car a really desirable, high option, high carbon fiber car. Great color scheme, well maintained. And here's the crazy, oh yeah, we even have shift paddles, carbon fiber. These are the factory shift paddles. Now here's the thing is, this car is in just such good driving condition. You can actually feel that this car drives better. And in fact, because it's been driven, we think it's the best driving car out of the three. So we actually think this car drives better than the super low mile car, which we're going to go to next. Okay, now the very high price car. This car we've got listed for $165,000. Now, why is that so much dramatically more than both these two? Well, the biggest factor is condition and miles. This car is a 2007. It's only got 7,700 miles, and it's in almost flawless condition. I mean, it's got a couple of flaws, and they're very, very minor. No one's going to really notice the flaws, but if you own the car, you're going to notice the flaws. So here we go. Carbon ceramic brakes. You got the NART blue, extremely rare color. This blue actually does add to the value of the car. Now, it does make it a much harder car to sell, but it is such a rare color that it does make it add value. Everything's in great shape. No wobble in the mirrors. There is only tiny scuffing in the paint right here from the top. That's not uncommon at all. Basically, no paint chips. I mean, it's just almost flawless. Like I said, there's just nothing really of note. You have a little bit of the humidity buildup in the lens. That's, again, a common 430 thing. That's a function of age. No wobble whatsoever in the mirror. Carbon fiber on the vents for the engine bay. Very cool. None of the taillights are loose. Everything's in perfect working order. You know, the carbon fiber rear diffuser, factory exhaust, everything's factory. It's just all the way it came from the factory. In fact, when you open up the door and you crawl inside, you can smell the leather. It still smells brand new in here, and everything looks and feels brand new. So the catch is with this car, if you buy it, you need to keep it air conditioned year round, because those sticky buttons will start coming up if you don't. But no sticky buttons. Everything's still got the factory soft touch. You've got the Daytona seats with the blue striping. You've got a carbon center console. You've got the carbon fiber driver's zone. You've got carbon fiber shift pedals. These are aftermarket, actually. You've got the factory radio. You've got everything in perfect working order. Everything's exactly where it should be. The dash is perfect. Everything here, the seats, yeah, just there's nothing to point out flaw wise. It's kind of interesting, you know, just you look at this car and you can kind of look at the car next to it and you're like, wow, there is just nothing of note. Hey Mo, I don't need your help right now. Okay, go on. No, go on. Good boy. Yeah. You're a good boy, Mo. Yeah, you're a good boy. Now, let's also take a look at the engine bay, and you'll see pretty much everything carbon fiber that can be done in carbon fiber is in carbon fiber. It's just spectacular. Carbon fiber panels, carbon fiber airbox, carbon fiber lid on this. Awesome. Everything else is factory. So that's exactly the way you'd want this car to be. Now, this car is almost collector's worthy. It could go into a collection. It would be a good example to just keep. It is a stunning, great example of a Ferrari F430, and it's going to make someone very, very pleased. So it's really hard to find the right car at the right price, and certainly there is such a variance on price that you kind of have to decide what makes sense for your budget, what makes sense for what you plan to do for the car. So me personally, I'm a driver's kind of guy. I want a driver's quality car. I probably would take the red one because it's been maintained so well, and yet it's already got miles on it, so you're not really going to depreciate it any further. Now, if you're looking for a collectible car, I mean, it's hard to go wrong with this. And honestly, if you wanted a blue car, yeah, that NART blue is just unreal, and it's also extraordinarily rare and difficult to find. So that's one of the problems with buying Ferraris, is the more specific your requirements, the harder it is to get the right car, and the more impossible it is to get it at a good price, because you're kind of going to have to pay whatever the market is for that car. The red car, even though it's a very easy to sell combination, we can't mark this car up to the moon just because it's red and tan, because there's a lot of competition. There's a balance between how much is out there in competition versus how much you can kind of charge for some of the more premium options or the more rare things. So NART blue is a rare enough color that we can actually charge a decent amount more for it, because someone's going to want that color. It is a fantastic color, and whoever, you know, is trying to look for a NART blue, well, this might be it. This is your chance. The miles, condition, all those things also start to add up tremendously. So, you know, a $10,000+ gap between these two. Arguably, we could probably even get more for the red one than we're asking, but it is what it is. Driving is, of course, another factor that comes into play. So you need to drive these cars and feel them. Obviously, this feels like pretty much a factory car. This one feels like it's been maintained. It's got new parts in it. It's had stuff swapped out. It's a really good driving example. This car, pretty good, drives well. It drives actually very, very good. It's just, you know, you can tell that it just a little bit looser, maybe the bushings are starting to get a little more worn, that sort of stuff. If you guys are looking to buy a car and you need some help, we do offer consultation services, so check out our website, normalguysupercar.com. There you can buy the consultation services or parts from us. And if you're looking to buy a car from us, go check out ngsupercars.com. That is our dealership website. But we do appreciate your guys' support. Like, share, and subscribe. We're going to be doing some more cool car stuff, so you're going to want to stay tuned. It's going to be sweet.